Today we're going to be discussing a question I get asked a lot. What are the first steps of an SEO plan? Now, we're going to start with an audit. We're going to start with an audit of your competitors, and we're going to start with an audit of your own properties. If you do an audit correctly, you're going to have a lot of tools that you can use later on to create an SEO plan that is going to give you the most bang for the buck. Let's take a look. I'm going to pretend today that I am a tree service contractor and that I'm located in New Jersey. Now, these are my top 3 competitors. This is my location right here. I just picked a random spot in New Jersey. And what I'm going to see, first I'm going to go in and I'm going to type in tree service or tree service contractor, something to give me a look at my competitors. And I'm looking for the top 3 results in the Google My Business listings. So these top 3, because these are what Google considers to be best for my search when I'm looking for a tree service contractor. And I'm also looking for the top 3 websites that are not going to be Facebook, Angie's List, Yelp, whatever. So there's a couple of websites here we're going to take a look at. First, let's start with the Google My Business listing. Now, I do have a worksheet I'm going to share with you guys. So we're going to identify the 3 most competitive GMBs. These are the top 3 that come up. So easy enough, if they're coming up from my location, these are going to be my biggest competition. I'm going to look at how many reviews they have. Now, this one has 23 reviews, 119, 101. That means an average of about 80 reviews. If I have less than 80 reviews, I'm not going to rank. So I'm going to write down 80 reviews average. Hopefully my math is correct, but I think you get the idea there. Now, we're going to take a look at how many posts they create. Now, Google My Business post is something, it's sort of like a social media. You basically can go up and you can talk about your service, you can create a link to your website, etc. So I am going to see if they have any posts here whatsoever. I don't see any on the first one. And I can see already I can already see they changed the GMBs on me. So I'm just going to go to the ones that I saw earlier. Sometimes the GMBs that come up will change based on my behavior. So just pick the top 3 that you know to be the most competitive. I can see that they have a description here, and I don't see any GMB posts. That's good. That means that if I was to create some GMB posts, I might give myself a little extra boost. Now, I do see they have a lot of pictures, and that might be, let me just go back here. That might be something for me to consider. So if you can look here, you can see this one only has three pictures. Let's see, this one has more than 13, and you can see these pictures of guys working here. So that might be something for me to add to my Google My Business listing. This one has more than 47. Now notice this is one of our original big competitors. So 47, 30, okay. So I'm seeing more than 30 pictures. I'm going to just add that in here. Number of pictures. Now something like pictures would be more important for, let's say, a tree service, which obviously deals with visuals, than it would be for a lawyer, which obviously doesn't. But it's always good to have more pictures than your competitor, 30. Now, when you post pictures, if you post them from the location, from the client's location or from your office, that could be also very helpful. Okay, we don't have any posts, so I'm going to write down 0 here. And then now let's take a look at the categories that we have here. Category is very, very important. So I'm seeing tree service as the primary category here. And I'm going to just, I have a plugin here that shows me the additional categories. It says GMB everywhere, okay? It's a free plugin. You can just install it in your browser. So what I'm looking for is secondary categories that may be being used by my competitors and are not being used by me. As you can see, all of my competitors have tree service as their primary category, and I'm not seeing any secondary categories here. So we can skip secondary category, okay? So I definitely want to make sure that my category in the future is going to be tree service, right? Okay, we don't see any here. Okay, so we want to have our Google My Business listing have 80 or more reviews 30 or more pictures. We want to do at least a few posts because the posts our competitors have none, so it's going to give us an advantage. Primary category should be tree service. Now, one trick I'd like to show you is Google is a machine, right? And so Google identifies your company as an entity, as a thing. And your entity must have a consistent name, address, and phone number everywhere. Without it, it's going to be very difficult to rank, especially in the competitive industry. So I'd like to share a resource with you. So this is probably one of the best bargains I've ever found in my SEO career. This is called the $7 citation audit. I don't get any money from this. It just, I really like the service. So what I would do here before I get started with my SEO, I would use this Loganic service. And I'm just going to place the link here to audit. It doesn't want to do that. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it works like this. Okay. To audit my Google My Business listing, I want to make sure it is the same in every directory. Name, address, and phone number appears the same. If it doesn't, the first thing to do would be to update those directories. So that's very important. I do talk about citations in a different video, which I will link in at this juncture. Okay, so those are the things I would do for Google My Business. This is a very basic audit, of course, but it's still helpful. Now, the next thing I would like to do would be to take a look at the 3 most competitive websites. Now, it's important that the 3 most competitive websites may not necessarily be the 3 most competitive Google My Business listings. And the reason why is because Google uses different algorithms to rank your Google My Business listing and your website. So let's take a look at our 3 competitors. And I'm just going to take the first one so as to make this video a reasonable length. So let's take a look at this guy here. So I'm using a tool called Ahrefs. I use it for all my agency work. They do have a small business plan, so you can actually, I think it's like $50 or $70 a month. Keep an eye on your competitors this way. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a look at the top pages for this specific competitor. Now, I can already see this is not going to be very competitive, so it wouldn't be very hard to beat. So our top pages here are the home page, testimonials page, lot clearing, pruning, trimming, stump grinding. Okay, so question here is, do we have these pages on our website? If we don't, very simple, this is where we would start with content creation, right? And we can take a look at the pages and the idea, oh, that's not even, it's not even working. Like I said, it's not very competitive. Okay, so let me see if it works this way. Okay, so what they did here was they changed their URLs without forwarding them correctly. That's a bad mistake for SEO. They're going to lose ranking, but because they're not in a competitive area, they didn't lose ranking a lot. So right now, they only have 1 paragraph here. What do we do? If I was the small business owner competing with them, I would create a 3-paragraph or a 4-paragraph page, and right away, I'm going to take a lot of their traffic. This is kind of a bad example because they have broken links. Let's take a look at this next guy and see if he can give us a slightly better website to compete with. Okay, so let's take a look at their services page. Okay, so they mention all the services that they're doing here, which is good. If I was a competitor of theirs, I would do the same thing. And that's it. That's all they do. They just mention the services. Again, not a competitive industry. In order to compete with these guys, very simple, you would add a description to your page. So you would include your services just the way they do, and then maybe a paragraph or 2 paragraphs for every service. That might even be a little overkill considering how little these guys are doing. I do want to mention that one of the guys was splitting up his services between pages, and the other guy is listing all his services on 1 page. In this particular case, I would probably just list all the services on 1 page because there is so little competition in the area. Adding too much extra effort is probably just not worth it. It's up to you, but this would be a very easy one to compete with. You wouldn't really need a complex SEO campaign here. So something like this would actually be perfect for a very simple SEO audit. Well, I hope this helps. It was a pleasure speaking with you today, and I hope I will see you in the future videos.